Hi, what a day. As you can tell, it's like summer here in north central Massachusetts. And it's like the first real day of it being really warm. And if you live here or you've lived somewhere where you have a long winter, you know how really wonderful it is when it's like the first really warm day. Yeah, we kind of skipped over spring. I mean, I'm sure we'll go back to it, but it was 85 degrees today. And I had a magical afternoon. I was driving in the truck. It was, in the truck. I don't have the AC on. Windows are down. So it's like over 90 in the truck with the heat from the motor underneath the floor. And I knew I wanted to get out in the sun and go swimming if possible. But I didn't know where I was going to go swimming. I thought, oh, maybe I'll jump in Otter River. Maybe it'll be deep enough. Be freezing, and there'll be bugs. So I just knew I wanted to go out to the sand pit behind work and get my feet in the sand for a long time and get some of those free electrons and ground to the earth and help with the swelling in my feet, get my knee in the sand. My left knee's really swollen. So, followed my heart, finished up work, walked out there. In the middle of the sand pit, it's a huge sand pit, and there's some really deep area in the middle. There's all this water. And as it turns out, it was like waist deep. I just got to lay out in the sun for like an hour, get in the water. There's like no one around, so no clothing necessary. And then just lay out in the sun some more and go back in the water. And it was surprisingly cold, actually, for water that was not that deep. And there was mud, because it was so good for my feet. I could feel it, I've done some mud packing in the past when I had inflammation, and I just stood there for a while, shin deep in the mud, and then got my knee in the mud, and I don't know. It was fantastic. Anyway, I realized the other day that I've been talking about being present, your presence in the present moment, and being in your heart, being present, and how wonderful that feels, and how peaceful and joyful that feels for me. And I think for any of us if we stay long enough. But I did realize that whereas we can, if we meditate long enough, get beyond our body, get beyond our mind, where there are no beliefs, we're just a pure point of consciousness and an awareness. That's not where I spend most of my time, even when I'm meditating, especially if I'm walking with my eyes open. So I realized that our core beliefs, what we know to be true, what we feel in those quiet moments, it plays a huge part in how that's going to feel. And I guess I wanted to just address that and acknowledge that I realize that not everyone has the same beliefs I have, and perhaps it's not as peaceful or as joyful for you when you open your gaze and connect to your breath and just are in the moment. So I wanted to share what I feel like what I know my core beliefs are. Just want to share it. Not looking to teach it or preach it or anything else. Those days are over. Number one, I have a belief, a knowing, at this point it's become just a knowing, that, I'm not sure how to phrase it, the universe is a friendly place. Universe, God, source, spirit, prana, chi, whatever name you want to ascribe to the consciousness, the energy that's all around us, that has created everything that we're a part of and that flows through everything, that it is loving. I believe that. And that because of the nature of love as a vibratory frequency, not only does it not judge, it is incapable of that, because it is just pure love. And as we know, when we're in a true love state, there is no judgment, there is no need to be, worshipped or obeyed, or it's just love. So feeling that, knowing, like resting in a knowing that I'm loved, makes it really easy to feel safe, to be authentic in that present moment. And to me, a huge part of being present is not just being physically present. Where am I? What day is it? What time is it? Locking in physically to the present moment. But emotionally. Where am I at right now emotionally? Being honest, being real. What do I feel right now? And being authentic. And then opening that, like showing that to that energy, that consciousness that I know is aware of me and is aware of you, is aware of everything all the time, multidimensionally. So it's always safe to be authentic, and it's always safe to open up. And to me, if I want to get still and meditate and really connect, I have to first acknowledge exactly where I am, physically, emotionally, everywhere, and allow it to be okay. It's like in Star Wars, the last one, if you saw hopefully you saw the last Star Wars. I mean, when Luke is telling Rey about the Force, and, first she's reaching out and he slaps her with the thing, and he says, no, close your eyes. Reach out with your feelings. I love that. I feel, though, we often feel like we have to reach out. And that's part of it. It's a relationship. But for me, it's more of just opening up, like allowing it in. Allowing it to see me. Of course it does anyway, but there's a difference. It's like you got a best friend, they know when you're upset, they can kind of see what's going on, but that's different than you like pouring your heart out to that friend, right? There's a difference. Like, they know, but when you just get open, it's, the connection is deeper, and this can be healing and whatever, venting, whatever needs to happen. So, the universe is a friendly place. I am beloved upon the earth, and you are beloved upon the earth, is my belief. I don't need it to be yours. It's mine. I guess to be honest, I hope you feel that. Because if you don't, I can see where one wouldn't want to meditate. Wouldn't want to be still if the knowing doesn't feel safe and secure and awesome. So that's number one. Almost 10 minutes. Try not to make these too long. Number 2. I know that I have the power to control my inner state. All the time. I own that I choose my thoughts, and therefore my thoughts create my emotions, so I choose my emotional state. I choose, look, things happen, things happen, bump into us, we react. Things are going to happen, we're going to react, but it's always my choice if I'm going to stay in something that doesn't feel good, stay feeling like a victim, or stay feeling angry or hopeless. It's my choice. And that's like the most amazing power. No one can ever take that away from you. We can always be at least working toward peace and happiness. Obviously, there's healing that has to take place when different things happen. Mourning, loss. And I recognize that me saying this, if you're someone that has experienced incredible loss, loss of a child or loss of innocence, rape, have had everything you own, say, stolen or taken from you. I understand. Those are huge things. But nonetheless, it always comes back to what we choose for our perspective to be. I always go back to Nelson Mandela. The guy did some stuff. He broke the law. He got thrown in prison. He was angry. And over time, he entertained the possibility, what if I could get out of here? What if I could love these people? What if I could completely change? And he did. And look what happened. Look at the impact of that transformation. That shift of perspective. He certainly hadn't done, from what I've read and he hadn't done things to deserve to be in prison for 27 years. Maybe a couple. He's part of a kind of militant faction. They were doing stuff. He went to jail, but obviously that was an injustice how long he was kept there. And he could have stayed in that place of anger, and he didn't. Amazing example. But I know that I also have that power. That I don't ever feel, at this point, put upon from the outside by who the president is or what they're doing or Congress or the country or people around me, people at work, other relationships I have. They're going to affect me, certainly momentarily, especially people close to me, and things I see happen around the world will evoke maybe sadness or empathy or even anger, but I don't have to stay there. So that knowing, that combined, I'm loved, I'm safe, I'm loved, and I get to choose my emotional state. Which also means, basically, I'm free. Because the sense of I can always come back to freedom. Which, like happiness, is an inner state of being. Mandela wasn't free he wasn't free physically, but he freed his heart. And when he freed his heart, he ended up getting free physically, and then changing the course of a nation. Amazing. Those two things. I acknowledge that what I realized this past week was if someone doesn't share those beliefs, doesn't really feel that in those quiet moments, then all this me talking about how great it is to meditate and to be present, there could be a lot of resistance to that idea, and I understand that. I think I understand it better now. One last thing I would say, another belief, another knowing that for me makes all the difference in wanting to be present and feeling safe to put away the monkey mind and just be with myself, is that self, that awareness, that observer is eternal. I believe that. So I guess I'm acknowledged, if you are convinced yourself you don't believe that you're an atheist, dust to dust kind of thing, body's done, you're done, maybe the stillness doesn't feel so good. But I believe science is even now proving that. I just listened to a Deepak Chopra thing yesterday, as a matter of fact, about the latest in quantum physics and epigenetics and what they're realizing about consciousness and how it exists beyond the body. And it's my belief that my awareness will continue on when my body stops breathing. Also a very comforting thing and a very freeing thing. Allows me to have more fun, I think. Worry less. Below this video in the text, I'm going to include a couple of books that I feel like helped me, at least initially, with these three ideas, to really be inspired. You know, it's like the movie Inception. Sometimes it's just placing an idea in your head. It sticks. You can grow into a belief. These books helped me with those beliefs. But what someone else says only becomes like intellectual knowledge. It becomes experiential knowing. I believe really that's arisen from the time I've spent meditating. Like, the deeper I've gone in my awareness, I now know these things to be true. I hope that makes sense. So I'll do that, put some things on the bottom. I hope you enjoy and listen to these if you are, and I'm enjoying sharing my heart. It's it's really, I look forward to it, and it's a great place to be, flowing from the heart. I hope you had a fantastic day. I hope wherever you are it was warm, and if it wasn't, that, well, summer's coming and it's going to get warm. Have a great night.